The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, they're suing Exxon Mobil with regards to, first of all, racial discrimination. The lawsuit claims the petrochemical giant failed to protect a black worker from harassment after nooses were found at his Baton Rouge complex. According to the EEOC's lawsuit, a black employee at Exxon Mobil's chemical plant found a hangman's noose at his worksite in January 2020. Exxon Mobil knew that 3 other nooses had been displayed at the Baton Rouge complex when he reported the noose. The EEOC alleges that Exxon Mobil investigated some, but not all, of the prior incidents and failed to take measures reasonably calculated to end the harassment. After the employee reported the noose in January, a 5th noose was reported in December 2020 at the complex. The EEOC said that Exxon Mobil's actions and omissions regarding the noose incidents created a racially hostile work environment. Well, damn, Reese. Exxon, you need 5 to know it's real?
For fuck's sake, you would think that the first one would be enough, but you have no choice but to make the assumption that this was a feature and not a bug of the system. When you do not take action, then you are emboldening people to take this kind of really abhorrent racist behavior. And so the reality is that the comfort or just the basic right and humanity of their black employees was not a priority over making sure they don't piss off their white employees. But this is what happens, the EEOC's lawsuit, when you actually have a functioning civil rights department or you have functioning civil rights divisions within various departments, unlike what we saw under the Trump administration.
Erica?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that these workers that were impacted definitely sue the hell out of ExxonMobil, especially since they experienced record profits during the season where price for gas was just high for no damn reason. So, all the more reason why, as Reese always says, black folks definitely need to be more litigious. We know that there's, something coming forward, but I really do hope that they sue them not only for what they're owed, but because they also experience overflow because ExxonMobil definitely has it to give.
Mm-hmm.
I just sit here and again, for all the people who say, "Oh, just isolated incidents," Greg. Well, why do you think you have an EEOC? Go to their website and look at what they're investigating. Ain't no such thing as isolated.
Mm.
No, sir. But Roland, again, man, you keep making these points over and over again, brother. This is why participating in the political process is so important. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which deals with employment discrimination, has been widely interpreted differently by different people depending on their politics. Nooses have been appearing as kind of proxies for everything from racial discrimination to intimidation at the workplace for decades. In fact, shout out to one of my students at Howard Law School, Alexa Walker, who was actually writing a paper about it this semester. We just talked about her paper last week. We were talking about employment discrimination, and she's writing about nooses. In fact, you might run into, again, talking about the federal bench, a district court judge who might say, yes, this noose was a threat, was seen as a threat leaving it there. But if you can identify the people that did it or the workplace that enabled it, this could be seen as an instance of personal animus rather than racial animus. Now, this has happened when you find, for example, somebody who was threatening somebody by calling them the N-word or and then they say, okay, well, they didn't call you that because they're racist. They call you that because they didn't like you. A noose is a lot more difficult to nuance because you're clearly trying to gesture toward this idea of lynching, of violence against black people. But there are judges on the bench, and let's take a guess as to who those judges were appointed by, who might interpret the noose not as a racial threat, but as an attempt to intimidate that you have to demonstrate racial animus in terms of individual intent or structural intent as it relates to an employer to recover from. It's fallen on both sides. It isn't as simple and plain and open and shut as getting a monetary damage recovery or having some form of injunctive relief. It isn't that open and shut, which is why I agree with you, Reese. You've got to have an EEOC who is willing to go to battle with these folk, because sometimes it's really a case of who you get on the bench to decide whether or not you're going to get some relief.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.